Hello, it's Andy. Well, I'm in the greenhouse and I'm just checking on things because Cornwall has just had a storm go by. It's got another one due in, and I think this one's got the category of being severe, as in potentially harmful to life. So, I've just been and checked my house insurance policies, like you do when things like this happen. But yeah, I'm in the greenhouse just checking to make sure there's no stress on any of the glass and everything that happened last night, because it really was hammering the front out here. And I'm just checking on the plants as well, just seeing their progress, because to be honest with you, I've been watering them once a week and that's about as much as what I've done in here, but they are coming on very nice now. Yeah, as you can see, they're not doing too bad. My voice might be a bit echoey in here. They're doing very well. I've got a variety of other ones under there that need a little bit of weeding and sorting out. But our main buddleias are over here in all the different varieties of colours. And you can see them underneath there as well. We've got a load there. They're all doing very well. So yeah, we've got pinks, blues, whites, dark coloured ones. And incidentally, in the video I did about how to propagate buddleias, and I took a cutting and it was the wrong time of year, and I just did this as a demonstration, but if you look, it has actually got some green buds coming, and I didn't expect that, but there you go. They're quite easy to propagate if you do it right. But yeah, getting back to that, yeah, we've got all the colours you can think of, and yeah, people do come to us for whatever colour they want in the, well, from the buddleia species of plants. Right, I've got to get this tidied up and put a bit more protected, because this will be up the road, and it is protected there by the oil tank, but it needs to be tidied up a little bit more. I've got to sort the bins out now. The bin men have just been. My stall is here. I brought that in. There's no point having that out, it would just get trashed. And it's still holding good in all the clips. You have to keep checking these clips on the glass, because as the greenhouse wobbles, it's firm, but I mean, there is a little bit of play. These wire clips can come out and then the glass literally pops out, and once you get wind in there, it'll blow all the other panels out. So you do have to come and check it when there is winds or storms. I've upended the bins and put them facing away from the wind. They won't go anywhere now. And I've got this cable from the power company. This one here, they actually give me rent money for them using my property for it to go into, so I actually get some rent off them. It's a pittance, don't get me wrong, it's not going to make me rich, it's an absolute pittance, but they do give me some rent for using my ground to put that cable in. Yeah, all the plant pots and everything's been stacked up nicely behind here now, so that won't go anywhere. Yeah, just checking all this behind the workshop as well, and I must get on with this. Soon as I get some better weather, I'm going to get this stripped down and get, like I said, make this into a paddle board, come kind of flotation, sit on canoe type thing. I'll make something from it. Like I said, it costs us nothing and it will do the job that we want it to do. Just rescued a teaspoon. I always wonder where these goes when the kids go helping the wife or she's monitoring what they do. These spoons tend to disappear and don't come back. So and I've also rescued a ball from the hedge. So yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about this piece of box section. I'm actually going to make a wood stove for when you go camping, a miniature one from this, and I was going to do it last year, never got round to it, so I'm going to actually do that for this summer, make a miniature wood stove to take when I go camping. Yeah, as for the kids' tulips that they've planted, as you can see, they're all starting to come up and poke through. I feel it was a bit early, but my wife has done her research and she says that no, they do come up this time, but no, it's looks a bit early for me, but hey, they know what they're doing, they're the gardeners. Yeah, I recycled some compost in that, and I must have had a bulb or some sort of like, yeah, I'd say a bulb or tuber for whatever plant this is. The missus would be able to tell me, I'm not sure, but it's obviously found its way in with the strawberries when I've recycled some of the compost. Well, there's not really a lot I can do here. This is all going to be secure because the wind will be coming this way for a westerly direction, and coming that way if it's southwest or south, so whatever's in here is pretty protected. I always have to come down and check the chickens because this plastic roof is a candidate to be ripped off, I suppose. It's done a multitude of years now, but the likelihood is one day it will go. Chickens couldn't get out because obviously it's mesh underneath, but yeah, it could get ripped off, so I'll have to keep an eye on that tonight. Just checked for eggs, we got one there. And Casper's been following me around. And I do need to clean that. That's left over from last year. That's our fire pit. Incidentally, when I was doing a little bit of work with a mate who's got a ground working business, he had a lot of like scrap metal and things for tractors, lorries and trailers, and he had this steel rim going, and I was thinking about buying one of those Bolton fire pits that you can get. And I just had this, I was clearing it out and it was going to go to scrap. I thought, do you know what, that'll make a really good fire pit, and it's going to take many years before that rusts out. Yeah, these will be whizzing around if I don't tip them up, upend it all. These will roll and go around and give something a fair smack, so and locking them into the hedge, they can't go anywhere then, they're in there like that. That one's pretty secure. That's pegged down as well. And one thing I've got to always be careful of is all the kids stuff. There's always a danger that could. And I see this glass table, that better come down and be upended. Otherwise that's going to be somewhere it shouldn't be. All that's all packed away and it's sheltered by the actual workshop. So yeah, I think the garden's sorted now. Yeah, so I was rotored on last night, didn't get a call out, but even so, I found myself drifting in and out of sleep. When you're rotored on and you're waiting for a call, like because I operate a call out system, you do sometimes like wake up and you think, should I go back to sleep, should I not? And you find yourself whizzing around on YouTube and various other channels, and some of it's quite interesting and some of it you realise after 10-15 minutes you're just watching total, well, nothing of real interest to you. You're just sat there watching it in a half a daydream, and that's probably the point you need to stop drinking the coffee and think about, do you know what, that's probably not helping drinking coffee. Yeah, so me and the wife bought this house a few years ago, and it's needed a lot of work upgrades just to keep it, shall we say, current, so that we can I don't know, go forward as with a young family, and it should last that time that we need it to in that capacity. But like everybody, things had to be done bit by bit, and obviously saving to do it. So This house, obviously, when we first bought it, and in a large respect, quite, you know, being honest, there's a lot of areas in the house we've still got to do a lot of work. So it's work in progress. But you could quite easily think to yourself, you were stepping back into the 1970s. And on top of that, a lot of the work has not been done to a satisfactory standard if it was your own home, shall I say. And that's not being derogatory, it's just the fact of life. If it's your own home and something like that, you do tend to possibly do things to a little bit better standard than perhaps if somebody else is doing it for a local authority. And I think most people can relate to that. But yeah, so basically last year all of last year basically was taken up with getting a kitchen and a bathroom together, because what was here was a bit of a hash up that somebody had ripped out the council one and then installed one half-heartedly, and it was a mess. So we then had to install one ourselves, but it did take us years to get to the point to do this. Yeah, the wife has been debating whether we get rid of this table and chair set because it's quite large. I don't think it holds any value, but the fact it's an 8-seater and quite often we have a large number of people come round. The table itself needs completely stripping back and redoing, which is something I'm going to do this year. But obviously last year it was doing this complete kitchen. The kitchen I ripped out, all the walls had to be skimmed and plastered and got ready. I did that, had some electricians come in obviously to reroute all electrics. I then filled that back in, and a lot of the tiling on the floors or slate slabs had to be all redone in around there, because when we took the kitchen out they'd only gone to the units that were there. So obviously there was a big area that wasn't tiled. I know it's underneath the kitchen, but I needed to put something there to get the kitchen back up level, so it might as well be done properly, as you know, to a standard. So I would have had to use some material, so I got some more slate tiles to go through, which obviously it is still seen in some areas, so it had to be done properly. And we had the kitchen fitted. The gentleman who did it did a fantastic job for us. We were contemplating me doing it, but the wife was saying, you've already taken X amount of time ripping it out and doing what I've done to it. Let's just get somebody in and get it done. And to be honest with you, I'm thankful for that. This is just an area I had a bit of leftover worktop, so I actually just made a worktop over here just with a few bits of wood. It was done during the lockdown when I couldn't get a lot of material, but it's suffice and it's doing its job there at the moment, and it gives us you know, with coffee, tea and things like that. We've got our boiler in there. It does have a CO2 or carbon monoxide monitor in there. And obviously it doesn't go completely to the ceiling, so there's obviously room for anything to escape if it should need it, and on top of that it's vented here. So yeah, I've got a carbon monoxide detector there, and I've got one up there as well, but that one was fitted in conjunction with us having and reinstating this fireplace. This fireplace was blocked up by the council because the house at some point did catch fire, but we've reinstated it, and we got somebody in who was qualified in doing that, and ran into a lot of problems, shall we say, to get it. I'm not going to go into too much of those, but yeah, a lot of problems did arise. If it's looking a bit dirty there, that's one of the jobs I've got to do in a minute, because I've just cleaned the it's not mine yet again. We've inherited this one. Somebody emigrated and we got left this. I think it's a parrot, cockatiel. I'm not quite sure, but it does kick all its seeds and stuff and they get scattered everywhere, so I got to clean that up. But yeah, this took a lot of our time last year, and a lot of our resources and finances. I also, in conjunction with the kitchen, I had to do a bathroom, which was the full job, from tiling, showers, bath, flooring, done the walls, ceilings, doors, everything, a complete unit, everything come out. Now you're probably wondering why I did that on top of the kitchen, why didn't I spread it out? It's because we discovered a historic leak from here and down to the pipework running along that channel there from the bath and that, but we couldn't get to it because it was inside the wall cavities. When I started taking the tiles off to get to the cavities, it just pulled all the plaster off and it became a big mess. We had a cast iron or a bath which was enamel coated, and there was areas where that enamel had lifted and it was rusting through and nearly gone through. So at that point it was a case of, if I've got to rip all these walls out here and we had to retile it, I might as well put the new suite in now. So yeah, it was an expense I didn't want on top of it all, but it had to be done and it got done. So yeah, we're still recovering from all this and still saving hard to get back to where we need to be. I'm showing this, it looks an absolute mess. Like I said, we've got a tent in the front room, we've got camping chairs, we've got toys everywhere, but we're both under strict instructions not to touch it. We've done it on several occasions and we get 2 or 3 hours of absolute, well, hell on earth, shall I say, the kick-off that ensues, but we need to get this away. This is his, or their, both the boys' play den, and if we even try to sort anything out, they're screaming, shouting and kicking off. So, but we've actually said tonight's the night we're going to tackle this on the head, and all this is going away. I mean, I don't mind it up for one day, but when he sort of, or they both think that this is staying here permanently, no, I think we've got to draw a line. They've had their fun with it now and it needs to go away till another occasion. Yeah, so I'm home alone at the minute. The wife's away with her, one of her elder daughters, and all the other kids are at school. And I've just put the kettle on and I'll take you into the workshop and show you what I've been doing this morning, and just give a little bit of an explanation on our different styles of sticks, not as in the actual shape of them. We do a range of 3 basic finishes and styles, and then from there on in we do the other different types within that those ranges. And that's our basic normal woodland range, which is like a half stripped stick from bark and then wood burning done on it. We also do like a vintage one which sells quite well actually, and it's basically a hiking stick with a bit of wood burning on it, but it's been given an old-fashioned kind of finish to it and then brought back to make it look a bit distressed, and that's what we classify as our vintage hiking stick. And then obviously our natural ones, which is the ones with bark left on, and I'll just take you through and let you have a look in a minute. But I'm going to get this coffee, or I think I better have a cup of tea. I've drunk enough coffee now, but a cup of tea and I'll take you and then you can have a look. Yeah, so this is this morning's effort here, and this is 2 of our natural collection, and you can see that they're oiled at the minute, and I'm going to wait for that oil to sink in, and then when that's done I shall polyurethane the actual outside to give the bark a bit of protection and stop it peeling off like bark does sometimes over time. But yeah, basically obviously you can see that's a stag head there that's been burnt on. Logo, and it's got a nice round handle on that one there, and that's got a nice silver colour to that bark. The other one here is a little bit more simple. It's got a peaked handle, slightly darker bark, goes down to a very, very nice copper tip. Put a nice big one on this stick, and that's obviously got my logo and a nice little burnt on little squirrel there. So yeah, two nice hiking sticks there when they come to completion. As you can see, I'm just now waiting for oil to go into those, and I finished that off this morning. The amount of injuries I've had off this thing is nobody's business, and it did actually get me into a lot of trouble in a factory I used to work for. They classified my injury as self-inflicted. And yeah, it got me into a lot of trouble with the HR department. But it did get resolved, but only after a lot of aggro. I was tempted for coffee, so tempted, but no, that's a cup of tea. I'm trying to cut back a little bit on coffee. Yeah, so here you go. This is one of our vintage ones, and as you can see, it's been given a slightly darker, more traditional coloured stick, or like hiking sticks and walking sticks would have been coloured, but I've distressed it. I've taken it back in parts and just brought it up to a look of being sort of like extremely old, something that you could quite happily say you could find in a vintage second-hand store. You know, it's got obviously that charm that it looks kind of old school, old worldly. But this one here has a Highland cow burnt onto it. They always go well. Everybody seems to love a Highland cow. I think I've said that before. It's just a long hair, I think. But yeah, that's our vintage collection, and yeah, people do like these. They don't seem to like them if I do actually just cover them with that dark stain. That doesn't seem to work. People like if you're going to stain them these days, it has to look like it's weathered, it's worn, and shall we say it's done many miles on the trail. And this just looks the part, and people like this. And just for a comparison on those two, this is what we call our woodland or moorland collection ones. And it's just basically a majority of it stripped back, the bark. And this one's an oiled finish, incidentally. It doesn't have no polyurethane on it. But yet again, another Highland cow. Yeah, I don't need to repeat myself on that, but if you like Highland cows, I can do you a Highland cow. But yeah, that's a slightly smaller one for a slightly smaller person. But yeah, fantastic stick there. But that's what the bulk of them look like. Now the wife had this for her birthday, and I've now got to get that ready for the summer. I know nothing about these, so this is going to be a learning curve for me, although the one thing I have got to do is a bit of groundworks before I can even think about putting it up. Somebody's got a chainsaw in the background, but it's going to go along here, and I'm not sure whether there or take it right over to here. I'm going to concrete all this. That gravel will come backwards to help thicken it up here. And I've got rubble at the bottom of the garden, which I'll show you now. This pile of rubble come from when we were doing the drains. I didn't take it to the dump. I kept it back because I knew I was going to probably need some hardcore at some point. And as in things in life, as they do happen, I do need it, and I don't have to source it. I can use all that now to take up a majority of the volume with this. In conjunction to doing that, all this gravel out the front, that's going to be used to make the 3/4 dust, and the bottom part of the cement pad before I put the scree on the top and get it all smooth. So this won't be wasted, and all this is going back to lawn. I can't stand gravel, so I just want to get rid of it. So this will save me getting a lot of backfilling. I've got enough hardcore, but this will help with the volume and give it a bit more substance to the concrete. But I'm going to have to put a very smooth top scree on, because that sauna or spar, whatever it is an inflatable one, so there can't be no sharp bits. So yeah, this will be sorted and got rid of and put back to lawn. And I think the wife wants one of those little round things, which is like slabs, just a very small one, which are like decorative ones. So I've got that as part of the project as well. I've come in to finish my cup of tea now, because that chainsaw noise is quite full on there while they're getting that done. Don't you just love chainsaws? They're a necessity, but you know, it's one of life's grating noises. A bit like going to the dentist when you're in the chair and you can hear the drills and that going upstairs. Yeah, boy, don't you hate it, but you know it's a necessity. Same with chainsaws. But anyway, I've just showed you that because that is one big project this summer I've got to do, and it's going to be it's not exactly going to be technical to do this pad, but as you can see, there's going to be a lot of humping and dumping of materials and getting it done. Now, I will be, like you say, putting a concrete pad down, but I will be opening up the front bit for, shall I say, a like for like with water drainage, because I'm always fully aware if you're concreting something, you don't get good water drainage, and it doesn't help with runoff situations. But the water sits at the front, because underneath that gravel, somebody used this black felt material that supposedly lets water through, but over years it all gets clogged up, weeds come up through the gravel and that, and it doesn't let water through. It just rolls off into the alleyway, down to between the workshop and house, and into the gravel. So hopefully that will alleviate some of that problem by getting rid of that, because that's a big area at the front I've got to open up, and that will allow for water drainage, or natural water drainage, as it should be and was intended. Like I said, that's another thing I hate, is this black felt matting that goes down. And last year, on top of doing what I've just showed you in the house, I had to reinstate another piece of lawn where the woodshed is, and that was completely covered for probably 10 square meters with this black stuff, several feet underground, with gravel and earth on top. And yeah, that was a lot of weeks of hard sweating and handballing, but it got done anyway. So basically, yeah, I've got that particular job to do, and I'm just going to finish up by saying that yeah, it sounds like this storm that is coming in off the Atlantic this afternoon tonight is the real thing. And you know, everybody needs to take heed to it, and I hope everybody stays safe out there. And it's looking like us down here in the southwest are going to bear the brunt of this one. So yeah, if you're out and about, or indeed at home, just hunker down and stay safe. So that's me just finishing up here. I just thought I'd take you around, let you have a little look, and yeah, so that's Andy from Folklore Hiking Sticks.